This is the Horse Radio Network.
This is episode 309 of Stable Scoop Radio Show on the Horse Radio Network. Please support our sponsors as they make this show possible.
Our sponsors this week are Kentucky Performance Products. They can be found at kppusa.com, easysignsonline.com, and ridingwarehouse.com.
Welcome to the Stable Scoop, with weekly shows delivered right to you. With Helena and Glenn the Geek, live from the stable, it's every week. They bring you the news through hail or high water, while using their tails as their own fly swatters. So sit on down and laugh till you poop, 'cause it's time again for the Stable Scoop. Stable Scoop. The Stable Scoop. Stable Scoop.
I am Glenn the Geek.
And this is Bree Del Rosario, and you're listening to the Stable Scoop Radio Show on the Horse Radio Network.
Well, howdy, Bree.
Hi, how's it going?
Good. So glad you could join us this week. Helena is on vacation. She went to some tropical island someplace and left us behind. So.
Oh, well, she's missing out for sure.
No, I think we're the ones missing out, actually. She's now
I think so, too.
She's drinking martinis sitting on a beach someplace. Well, thank you so much. I know it was short notice to get you on the show, and you joined us last week. And of course, if you listened to last week's show, that you'll know that Bree is going to be contributing to the show on a regular basis from Riding Warehouse with some product reviews. And she did so good last week, I asked her to come back and co-host this week. So there you go.
Yeah, thanks so much, Glenn. I really appreciate it. It's such an honor to be here.
Well, no problem. No problem. Now, this is your first co-hosting experience?
It definitely is my first co-hosting experience, yes. So it'll definitely be a learning experience. Ride with me as I go along and help me out when you can.
Okay, no problem. That's my job. I've done it before. So,
yeah.
So last week we learned a little bit about you. We spent a little bit of time talking about Bree and the fact that you went to Cal Poly with an agricultural degree and then went on to get a master's degree, which is impressive. But
thank you.
We didn't talk a whole lot about your horse life. So were you always a horse girl?
I have always been a horse girl. My parents have had horses since I was small. I was riding before I could walk, that saying. I actually saw something somebody posted to my Facebook the other day, one of my friends, and said, it's pretty rare that I can say I've been riding horses before I was riding bicycles. So I thought that was really cute, and that's definitely true. My sister and I, we just grew up around horses. We were lucky enough to live in San Diego County on some property, so we had them in our backyard. So we got the full experience, the scooping up the poop and feeding and everything. So it wasn't just going to the stable to ride. We got the whole experience and fell in love. And, but pretty much been on the back of a horse my whole life. So I've been very blessed.
Did you start English or Western?
My parents are Western-based, really into the Western lifestyle. And so I started out doing actually both. I branched out a little bit. I wanted to do something a little different than my family.
Of course, that's what teenagers, girls do.
Of course, I wanted to be a little rebellious, do something a little different. So my first horse was a little pony. He was, stereotypical, the most stubborn pony you've ever met. Would raise his head all the way up to get his halter on, and we'd be hanging off his mane. And he was perfect for kids that wanted to learn how to ride. He was that very stereotypical, stubborn little guy. And after him, my first horse was actually an English horse, and my parents got me involved in Pony Club, which I'm not sure how many people are familiar, but Pony Club, its basis is 3-day eventing, so definitely English. And so I went through that, and what's awesome about Pony Club
was there a club near you out there?
There was, yeah. It was called Rainbow Pony Club. I'm not sure if it's still called that or if it still exists down there. It was in El Cajon, California, and based out of a stable down there. And it was really, really phenomenal because just like my experience growing up, having to do everything related to horses, not just ride, Pony Club's the same way. It teaches kids everything, all the vet knowledge that you need, wrapping, legs, things that I think a lot of kids are missing out on these days. So
my wife would agree. She's an A Pony Clubber, so she would agree.
Perfect. I didn't get that far, but that's definitely very very admirable that she got an A rating. That's amazing.
Well, that was before that was when you still had to be like 21. Back in the old days when they didn't have tracks or paths, you basically did everything back then.
Yeah.
I think it's good the way they've gone now. I really do. I think the branching out and having the different tracks that they can do is good because it allows the kids to do more and get more kids involved too. Now, so I assume, though, that one of the big things that you did with your family was trail riding.
We did a lot of trail riding. We were really lucky back in the day. It makes me sound old. Back in the day, we could ride right off of our property without hitting really any fences that we weren't allowed to go through. That changed over the years, and that's why, as we talked about last week, my parents moved to New Mexico. And that was part of the reason is because they were getting fenced in, as I'm sure a lot of our listeners are experiencing probably right now. It's getting harder and harder to find places to ride. But back then, we did a lot of trail riding. It was definitely our family outing. You know, we had the horses right there, so we went out a lot, and it was really fun. Didn't do a whole lot of trailering out to go ride, just because we had so many opportunities. But then as we started getting fenced in, we definitely had to go trailer out. Cuyamaca, I'm not sure how many people are from Southern California, but Cuyamaca has a really nice park area that you're allowed to ride in, and it's pretty vast. And so we trailered out there a few times. But trail riding was definitely a good way for our family to connect because it was something we all had in common.
Now, did you guys used to travel to go exotic places and trail ride?
We did not do that because we had the horses at home. We were very limited in our vacation, as I'm sure a lot of people have experienced. You know, we had goats and dogs and horses and everything. So it's hard to travel when you have everything. Somebody's always got to be home. Or you have to find somebody really reliable. So no, we didn't do any no exotic rides or anything like that, unfortunately. But we had a lot of fun. We did a lot of, gymkhanas. We were in parades. We would do all the local parades. It was a great opportunity for our horses to get desensitized. And we kind of did everything we could locally, I would say, so that we could be home at night to feed.
It's hard. We've had that discussion a number of times here in the show, and I've had people. I just had an email the other day from a friend who said, we're thinking about getting our own place. We've always boarded. What are the positives and negatives? We're going to have to do a whole show on that, I think. The positives and negatives of having the horses at home as opposed to boarding. And boy, when I started making the list, it's about equal. There is a lot of positives. There's a lot of emotional positives to having the horses at home and a lot of practical positives to boarding them.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, it definitely makes sense. Practically, it's fantastic. You can go, you can leave your supplements, you can leave your directions, everything gets taken care of. You don't have to worry. You know that the people who are watching out for them are experienced. They've got a lot of horses under their care. If something goes wrong, they're right there. And it's hard. It's hard to find somebody that you can really rely on to give them the same amount of care you would if you're at home. It's definitely a lot more difficult. And I've boarded as well. When I went to college, I boarded. So I've had both experiences, and I think I agree with you. There's pros and cons both ways. It's fun to have them at home. It's definitely more difficult schedule-wise. You definitely have to be home at that certain time every single day, or somebody needs to be home to take care of them. So it limits you a little bit, but at the same time, you've got them right there. You're able to look at them outside your window, and that's pretty nice too. So. Yeah,
I'm sitting here looking at my pony outside my window right now, as a matter of fact.
Oh, geez.
So he's right outside the studio here.
I'm so jealous.
Yeah, I know. So now, so I think I have the answer to this question. When you get married and settle down and get your own place, would you rather board or have the horses at home?
Well, currently, I'm not engaged or anything, but I've been with my boyfriend for about 3.5 years now, and his family owns a cattle ranch. So he has all the horses at home on that ranch. So he's got his guys there. They rope as well, so they have a nice roping arena and all the amenities. So I think I would probably keep them there. But that's nice too, because then his family's there to watch over him. So it's kind of best of both worlds in that sense, because it's kind of like boarding, but it's kind of not. So
let's face it, if you get involved and marry a rancher, you're marrying the family. That comes along. When you marry a rancher, you marry the family.
Yeah, I feel like I'm already there, at least mentally. So
now they have a big ranch, one of those 80,000 acre ranches.
They have, we don't have quite that amount of land out in California. It's a little bit more limited. They've got a couple of ranches, one in Morro Bay and one in Cayucas. And I wouldn't, say that they're, the type of ranches that are like in Texas or anything like that, but they're definitely beautiful. And the best part is that there's an ocean view from each ranch. So
oh, geez.
Can't really beat it.
Okay. So you can ride your horse up to the top of the hill and look at the ocean.
You can, yeah. We've got some pictures of that, and I should probably, actually, the picture that's on the ridingwarehouse.com website,
yep.
There's a Meet the Crew section under the Customer Service tab.
I have that picture right here. You sort of on a hill with the rolling hills in the back.
Yeah, and the original photo, actually, before it was zoomed in and cropped, has the ocean right behind, so we just had to crop it to make it work for the website.
Oh, send me the original picture.
Okay, I
we'll
definitely
put that in the show notes so everybody can see it. We'll use that as our show notes picture for this week, so everybody can check it out.
Definitely beautiful.
Well, you're a lucky girl. You found the right guy.
Well, yeah, we'll see. I hope so.
And that answers the age-old question too. Do you marry a horse guy or a not horse guy? In your case, it was horse guy. So
a horse guy all the way. Yes, definitely. It's hard if it's your passion, and you do so much. If not a horse person, then at least somebody that supports it. I don't think you necessarily need to, have somebody that's doing what you're doing. I think actually sometimes that creates problems depending on how competitive you are.
That is true.
But at least somebody who
they take all your horse money.
Yeah, exactly.
My wife says that occasionally.
Yeah,
Wait a minute, I was the horse girl. Now we're spending all this money on your pony.
Hey, she should be happy because she found somebody that loves her passion as well.
That's true. That's true. Although there are some women that don't want their husband, and you see them. You have a retail outlet there too, at Riding Warehouse. You see the women come in with their credit cards that the husband doesn't know about. So it's easier, I think, to hide it when your husband's not involved too. So
that's true. That is true. Yes, definitely. So pros and cons for sure.
Well, we have a good show.
I went the horse guy route.
Well, good for you. Sounds like you did well. So we have a great show planned for today. Coming up on today's show, we have Kat from Eat Your Tart Outs coming on with her once a month look at a recipe for us. And of course, she tries to do recipes that are horse girl and horse guy friendly. And then, which means you can make them simply and quickly. That's what that means. And our second guest we are going to have on actually is we're sharing this with the Driving Radio Show. Wendy and I from the Driving Radio Show had an opportunity to speak to one of the organizers of the World Percheron Congress, and they have invited us to come up, and we are going to be attending. Dr. Wendy and I are heading to the World Percheron Congress in the fall, and we're going to be participating in all kinds of stuff up there, and of course, Percherons are my favorite breed. If you're a regular listener, you know that. Bigger and blacker, the better. So we're going to be attending that, and we're going to hear all about the World Percheron Congress coming up on today's show. And then Bree has picked out another product that I haven't heard of, which I didn't think was possible. We know about a lot of the products that are out there, but she found another product that we're going to review in the Tack and Habit segment, sponsored by ridingwarehouse.com. But first, let's take a break and hear from one of our sponsors at easysignsonline.com, and then we're going to go to Kat from Eat Your Tart Out. Easy Signs Online is the official sign company of the Horse Radio Network. This week's product highlight are their personalized nameplates. Perfect for horse stalls, tack rooms, lockers, bedroom doors, dog kennels, or whatever you can think of. Choose from hundreds of online graphics to further customize the nameplates from easysignsonline.com. Made from 1/2 inch thick solid PVC signboard, these colorful and unique one-sided nameplates are 3.5 inches by 16 inches and are designed for durability, long-term indoor or outdoor use. They are only $39.95 each, and remember, free shipping on most orders over $100. Visit them at easysignsonline.com. Hi, Kat. Welcome back.
Well, hi there.
It's good to have you back, and I know that you have all kinds of exciting things going on in your life out there in the Midwest.
Yeah, somehow I manage to do that no matter where I live, even though it seems like there's nothing going on here.
I know when you moved from Boston out to the Midwest, you were like, what am I going to do out here?
Yeah.
And you don't seem to have a shortage of things to do.
I certainly don't. And every day, every hour seems totally packed until I go to bed. And then I'm like, oh, I'm going to have an easy day tomorrow. And just never seems to happen. So it's fun because I have lots of adventures and things to talk about and all sorts of good stuff.
I am so glad that you're still keeping and doing a very good job with eatyourtartout.com.
Thank you.
Because I know that's a passion of yours. And, of course, we have you on once a month to talk about horse girl and guy friendly recipes. And you have one for us again.
Yeah, I sure do. And this one, so again, I go through a lot of journeys just to try out new fads, see where there's any, anything behind something that you might be reading about. So a lot of the diets, I don't take a lot of stock in. This, however, for me personally, I went on a journey to try and go without milk for a few days, not a few days, more like a few weeks, which was killing me. I love ice cream, love milk, love cheese. And I'm like, let me just try this. We had some weird health issues going on in our house and figured, well, it's a good time to cut it out, kind of reset our bodies and kind of go back to normal. And in the process of doing that, I came up with what I'm calling is the skinny chocolate breakfast shake, which is milkshake / protein shake / just yummy goodness. It's really, 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 really good. And the basis is you actually use chocolate almond milk as the liquid, and you can also use regular almond milk. And in the beginning, when I was testing out recipes for like vegan milk substitutes, I just didn't like a whole lot of them. And I love almonds, so this was a kind of a easy transition over to that. And it actually has a lot more calcium, and it has protein in it, as compared to regular cow's milk. And so it just was delicious, and I tinkered around with it. And now this shake has become something I pretty much drink every single day just because I love it, and it feels like a guilty pleasure, and it's really not.
Now, is this something you made up? So you made this up?
I sure did, yeah.
Oh, cool.
So I kind of took I get my inspiration for recipes over the course of blogs and Pinterest and cookbooks and all that kind of stuff, and I usually just mash everything together based on what I personally like. And so I had seen a lot on Pinterest of people doing kind of what they're calling an overnight oatmeal, where they will soak rolled oats and basically just have an oatmeal ready to eat the next morning, and they just put it in the fridge, and it's usually just oats and milk. And so I ended up doing that with my almond milk, because when I got up in the morning, I wanted to be able to walk out the door, do my errands, start on my blog, whatever I wanted to do, and I didn't want to have to mess with anything. And soaking oats before you put them in a shake really helps to soften them up and just make the shake taste a lot better. It's not chalky like you'll sometimes get. So that was kind of the basis for it. And then from there, I just started adding a whole bunch of things. I love really, really thick chocolatey shakes, so I added more cocoa powder. I added a little bit of honey just because I like things a little bit sweeter. And then, of course, I added a banana. Now, bananas, in this recipe, I've had Greg taste it. He hates bananas, but he can't taste it in this shake. And what it does is it gives you that nice frothy feel without actually getting that from the milk fat that you would normally be getting it from. So it's nice, another nice healthy alternative. And if you wanted to, and your banana is really ripe, you can actually opt out of the honey and have no sugar in this at all. And then I just added some flax seeds and chia seeds because they're really good for you. And I like peanut butter too, so I have some peanut butter in there as well. And that's it.
Now, do you put this in like a smoothie maker, blender?
Yes, I do. I have a NutriBullet that I got for a gift, and I kind of poo-pooed it because I've got, the blender, the juicers, the food processors. I didn't see any reason for it, and now that's what I use religiously for this because I like their containers. You just pop it in them overnight. Next morning, you pull it out, add your bananas and ice, and you're ready to rock and roll.
Now, Bree, I know you probably are. Have you ever been in the shake thing? I know the shake thing became popular, a couple years ago. Everybody was doing shakes.
Yeah.
So did you go through that phase? Did you go through the shake phase?
I'm a big fruit smoothie. I'm a big shake person, but I've always found that there's so many calories in it, so I always kind of went the smoothie route. But this is like best of both worlds. I'm looking at the recipe in front of me, and it looks amazing. And anytime you have peanut butter, I'm game. I am such a sucker for peanut butter. I can't get away from it. I've got this innate craving for it all the time. So now I definitely need to try this. I love fruit smoothies. I'm not sure if you guys have Jamba Juice out there. Do you have that?
Not near. I live in a very, very, very remote community, so we don't have any of this.
Okay.
That's why a lot of this I've had to kind of cater. But when I have traveled, I love juice. Very, very good
Yeah,
stuff.
Jamba Juice was actually created as a senior project at Cal Poly, the college I went to. So I'm definitely partial to Jamba Juice because of the local story. But I definitely got to try this. And especially now it has peanut butter in it, I'm going to go home and do this tonight.
Is it filling enough, like you drink yours in the morning, is it filling enough to get you through to lunch? Because you know how hungry I get.
Yes, absolutely. Like for me, I find it's very like once I start to get those hunger pains, I just pop it in my NutriBullet quick, go, and it lasts me definitely for a couple of hours. That's why the oats work really well. I know it's kind of a carby kind of additive, but that's because you soak it overnight, it's kind of like having a bowl of oatmeal. It's going to fill you up and kind of keep your hunger pangs down, for a few hours. So that's why I add the rolled oats. Obviously, you can opt out of the rolled oats if you really want to keep your carb count lower. And for somebody like you who likes peanut butter, you can opt out of the cocoa powder and maybe even just use regular almond milk and get yourself some powdered peanut butter and add that in there for a really super peanut buttery shake.
I think it's a requirement, Bree, that all horse girls like peanut butter. I think I don't.
Is it?
Yeah, I don't think you're allowed to be a horse girl unless you like peanut butter. Everyone I've ever found can live on peanut butter sandwiches.
I love peanut butter. Even just a scoop at night, if you're getting that sweet craving, and before you go to bed, you just stick that tablespoon in that big jar, and oh man, there's nothing better.
Now, for me, I have to drink, or I don't have to. My diet, my Lyme disease diet calls for, because I'm restricted on so many things, it calls for a protein shake, and it's a vegan protein shake. So it's supposed to be, good for you. But the one thing I found, and I've had other people that have tried it, is it's so thick and it's hard to get down. It's chalky. It's so thick and chalky. Yeah. Even if I add ice and kind of make it into a shake consistency, but it is chalky, and I've gotten used to it now. But is this chalky?
No, and that's why soaking the oats overnight, or even like for a few hours, if I forget to prepare it the night before, because it happens. Usually if I just let that set in the fridge for a few hours while I'm doing my morning chores or something, and then by the time I'm hungry, it's good. If you're using just basic rolled oats and just trying to mash it up in your shake at that time, or milling it down into almost a flour, you do get that chalky taste. And I don't like that personally, and I don't like that of protein shakes normally. So that's why opting with almond milk or another nut milk works very well if you're trying to go for a protein without that kind of chalky taste and finish.
Cool. Very good. Well, where can people find the recipe?
Over at eatyourtartout.com, and tart is spelled with an E, or you can find me on Facebook, and I've got a whole host of information and more recipes there.
At Kentucky Performance Products, quality assurance is a key ingredient found in every product they sell. Each supplement is manufactured to exacting standards in certified facilities. Their ingredients are sourced from highly reputable suppliers, and their formulas are fixed to ensure consistency in each bucket. So what does the promise of quality assurance mean to you and your horse? It means you can trust that when you purchase a supplement from Kentucky Performance Products, you will see the results that you expect and the quality that you can count on. They guarantee it. Kentucky Performance Products, helping you keep your horses healthy, sound, and competitive. Visit them at kppusa.com. That's kppusa.com.
Well, thanks to Kentucky Performance Products for their continued support of the Stable Scoop Radio Show. All right, I have to ask you, so now we just did, are you the cooker in the house? Are you the chef? Do you cook?
I wouldn't call it cooking. I would call it throwing frozen things in the oven.
You're the heater. You heat things.
I heat things. I'm a really good heater. Actually, my boyfriend does a lot of the cooking. We do have very different schedules, but he tends to do a lot of the cooking when we're both together. And then if he's coming home late or something, then I'll try to heat something up for him.
Now, is he a good cook?
He's actually pretty good. Yeah, he actually really didn't start until a couple years ago. He took an interest in it, and he's really developed his skills. So he's a lot better than I am, that's for sure.
Well, he grew up in a ranch family, too, and if there were anything like the ranch families that I knew growing up, they were eating they'd have 3 full meals a day. I grew up in Amish country in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, and a lot of my friends were Mennonite. And you'd go over there at lunchtime, and it was meat and potatoes and it was what we would consider dinner, supper. They were having at lunch and supper. I mean, the calorie intake is huge. It's just...
I don't think we can get away with that, so we try to keep it a little lighter, but it would be really nice.
No, I mean, I was really different to see. Now, they work their buns off, too. So,
right.
They're working from sun up till noon. They're really hungry by then. But it was amazing that Mom put out this 3-course dinner at lunch and dinner.
Wow, I'm jealous.
Well,
I wish I could cook like that.
Let's do this. Let's head off into something that I am so excited about. Percherons are my favorite breed. I've owned several of them over the years. I wish I owned one right now. If they didn't eat a bale of hay a day, and hay wasn't, $15, $20 a bale here in Florida, I'd own one right now. But Percherons are my favorite, and they, at the World Percheron Congress, have invited us, Dr. Wendy Ying and I, the driving radio show, to come up and hang out in Massachusetts in the fall. We're going to hear all about that. We're going to start with Stacy Lynch. She is coming to us from the World Percheron Congress. That's right. Wendy and I have been invited to attend the World Percheron Congress in West Springfield, Massachusetts, October 6th through the 11th of this year. And we're going to be there, and we're going to tell you all about it right now with Stacy Lynch. Well, hi, Stacy. Welcome to the Driving Radio Show.
Hello, Glenn and Wendy. Glad to be here.
We are so excited, Wendy and I, that we get to come up to Massachusetts and join you guys for the World Percheron Congress. We're so excited.
It's going to be a great event.
Well, you know from listening to the show that Percherons are my favorite breed, that I've owned Percherons in the past. I love Percherons. They're like my favorite. I love draft horses of all kinds, but I like big black mare Percherons. They're my specific favorite. So...
There'll be plenty of them.
Oh, good. See, I was going to ask you. There got to be plenty of big black mare Percherons. That's what I'm hoping for. Now, we're gonna talk about our schedule. People will be able to come out and visit with Wendy and I at the Congress, and we're going to talk about when we're going to be there. But first, tell us about the Congress. What is it? How long has it been going on? Tell us about it.
Yeah, the World Percheron Congress actually started in England and has since been held in St. Paul, Minnesota, Kansas City, Missouri, Lexington, Virginia, Des Moines, Iowa, and now in West Springfield, Massachusetts in 2014.
That's terrific. That's the same place that they hold the expo there in the fall in Massachusetts.
Correct.
Yep. So it's a big venue. It's a big place.
Yes, it absolutely is. That's the home of the Big E.
That's right. So how many Percherons can we expect to see?
We're expecting between 800 and 1,000.
Whoa. That's a lot of big horses.
That is a lot of big
horses. For sure.
That's a lot of tonnage right there.
And all shapes and sizes.
And Wendy's 5'2". She'll be able to walk under most of them without bending over. So you'll be in good shape, Wendy. You won't even have to duck.
I know. That'll be good.
Well, now, what kinds of activities, what kinds of classes and things do they do?
We're going to be demonstrating everything from in-hand classes to plowing. We're going to have under-saddle classes, including barrel racing for the first time, which we've never done before.
Oh, my God.
And we're actually going to do Comus Prairie style, which is more of an Appaloosa thing, but we thought it'd make it a little more interesting if the horses were going head-to-head. So there'll be a bracketing system and everything, so it'd be different.
Who did you get to volunteer to do that?
Actually, a man from Michigan that used to be in the Appaloosa world. He's the one that came up with the idea, and he's a breeder of Percherons, and he said, I want to get this underway, and he's all about getting this done.
Oh, does that sound like fun?
Yeah,
Wendy, or what?
the Vanderhoning family, and actually, I know Brooke's a listener of your show too.
Do they have extra large barrels? Hi, Brooke. Like with concrete in them or something?
Yeah.
I'm just picturing barrels getting knocked over and just floating away.
Maybe you get extra points for knocking them over, like how far they can kick them.
How far they can go.
Yeah, we'll also have teams and unicorns and 4-horse hitches and 4 abreast, 6 and 8-horse hitches. Also a tandem class, open tandem class. So there's a lot to see.
Now, 4 abreast, that sounds... Have you ever done that, Wendy, with 4
No,
horses?
never.
Yeah, that sounds like fun.
It's actually so wide that we're going to have to use the out gate to go into the arena instead of the in gate.
I was wondering about that.
The in gate isn't wide enough to fit them.
Now, we'll have horses from all over where? From
all over North America, all the way from Alberta, Canada to Nova Scotia, Canada, and all the way from California to Maine.
Wow.
How did you choose Massachusetts for the location for the show this year? Because to me, I didn't realize that there were so many draft horses in that area.
It's really not a hotbed for draft horses in this area. Usually the Midwest is more of the area you would find draft horses.
Yeah.
So it is a different area, but they do try to move the show around. And we're hoping that we're going to draw a lot of Eastern Canadians down.
Okay.
And there are plenty of hitches in the East. Quite a few in Pennsylvania and up through Maine. So they're around.
It must be, I can't imagine your parking lot, what it's going to look like when they all get in there.
With extra large horse trailers.
Lots of semis. Some hitches will bring up to 4 semis, depending on where they're coming from and what they're bringing.
And you would need one, their wagons are huge. You need your own semi just for the wagon.
Yeah, usually they'll have an equipment trailer just for their equipment with their harness and their wagon and their cart. Yeah.
This is an expensive sport when you have Percherons that eat a bale of hay a day and you got 6 of them dragging along.
That's for sure, but it's also affordable if you want to do just a single horse or a team and have some fun with them. There's also that, too. You don't necessarily have to show a 6 or 8 horse hitch to have fun at it. There's still plenty of families doing it. But yes, it's hard to compete with these corporate hitches that have a lot of money to spend on it.
Well, we are so excited. I am so excited. I don't know if Wendy's excited, but I'm so
super
excited.
I can't wait.
We love horses of all kinds, so this is going to be anything to do with driving. We love. So
sure,
this is terrific. And I have met a lot of Percheron people, draft horse people in general, in the past, and they're always super nice, and they're always willing to explain things to you and talk to you, which is one of the things I think that makes this Congress so cool. Is the average person who doesn't know much about draft horses could go to this and really feel like part of it.
Absolutely, and the best bet is to walk through the barns and to talk to the exhibitors. They're very happy to share their knowledge with people and encourage others to join our sport too, because it's not something that a lot of people get into every day, but once we get them hooked, they usually stay hooked.
Now, Jennifer, my wife, wants to make sure there is no auction happening because she won't allow me to come if there is, so...
We actually had held an auction at the show in the past, but at this one we are not having one.
All right, I'll be allowed to come.
You're safe. Yeah. You're safe.
That's good. And she said, Wendy, you're not allowed to bring your trailer up. We have to fly.
No.
So just in case. Now we are coming in. This happens. Starts on October the 6th through the 11th, right?
Right. The first day is just a move-in day, but the 7th would be the beginning of the show.
Okay, so the 7th, the beginning. We're actually going to be, Wendy and I, for those that are up there in that area and want to meet us and say hi and maybe join us on the show, we will be arriving on Monday, October the 6th, and I think we're going to a barbecue that night. And then on Tuesday, we're going to do the live Horses in the Morning show from there on Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. And then we're going to do the first ever live driving show in the afternoon at 2 p.m. from there. So we're going to do 2 shows that day from the World Percheron Congress. And then you have us some events too. So tell us about those.
Sure. We have a lot of special events going on throughout the Congress, one of them being the celebrity driving competition. And we actually have lined up several celebrities, both from the local area as well as from the horse world. We have Pam Minnick and Katie Kaufman coming from the Gentle Giants TV show on RFD TV. They co-host that show. And we also have a bunch of local radio and TV personalities lined up. And, of course, yourself, Glenn and Wendy, will be there competing head-to-head in this competition.
Do I get to compete against Wendy?
Well, I'm not sure if we're going to do it head-to-head yet or if we're going to do it one at a time. We haven't quite gotten all those details worked out, but we may end up putting you head-to-head.
What are we going to have to do? Yeah. Like, what's her...
Basically, we're going to set up a little obstacle course, and it'll be timed and fault. of course, also.
So the person
Probably
that
mostly
knocks over the
cones
most
and-
stuff wins?
Yeah, sure. There you go.
Yeah, I'll win it.
We'll have a special prize for that.
Okay.
That's a good idea. I might have to write that down.
Hey, we'll sponsor that prize, okay? Driving Radio Show sponsors
hit-
the Clumsy Award.
Yeah, if you hit all the cones, you get a special
that's
prize.
right. If you knock over the most stuff, you win the Driving Radio Show Award. I like that. We'll come up with something clever for the trophy.
There you go.
We'll come up with something for that. You write that down, all right?
All right.
We'll sponsor that class. Now, so we're going to be competing against the two ladies who do the Draft Tour show?
Yeah, they actually aren't very experienced drivers. I know Pam does a lot of barrel racing herself, or has in her past. And they have taken a few little driving lessons from Don Langell at Big Shoe Stables in Oklahoma. But other than that, they haven't really had a lot of time behind
we'll
the
take
line.
them down. We got them, no problem. Hey, what are we driving anyway? We driving pairs or singles?
Yep, a team.
Oh, geez, I've never driven a team. I've only done 1 and 4.
Well, you have to get in the middle there then.
Well, a pair is like a single, right? I only got 2 reins, right, Wendy?
Yes.
Right,
One in
right.
each?
But
I'll be
pairs are
fine.
not so easy. I don't think they're the hardest for me.
We'll give you some really broke ones, we promise.
Wendy, I'm going to come down and practice, okay?
You have to come down
So
and
hook
practice.
them up because I'm coming down.
I know. When I heard we were driving pair, I'm like, Glenn, you got to come down here.
I better at least drive a pair once before we... Although it could be funny, I could win my own award.
There you go.
No, you're not going to win the award.
Well, but Wendy, you should probably be the most experienced at this then.
I guess so. I don't know if I can take that kind of pressure. What if I go in and knock
you know
all of them
what?
down?
I think it's even better, Stacy. Do you want to make this fun for the audience?
Sure.
Hook up a unicorn for Wendy. She loves driving unicorns.
I do love unicorn.
Well, there you go. We might have to do that.
And at least you'll have one unicorn hitch. The audience will love that as she's knocking over everything in sight,
I know, that'd be fun.
getting tangled up in the obstacles. Well, this is a riot. This is a lot of fun. And then that night, Tuesday night, if people want to come out and see us on Tuesday, that night is opening ceremonies, and you have eight horse hitches that night. You have the barrel racing that night, Percheron Thunder exhibition, and I've seen those guys before when they were under a different name, and they have 2 of the biggest Percherons out there, period. I mean, they're 20
Yeah, they actually
stands.
just lost, Prefert just lost their, I think his name was Goliath. They just lost him last week.
Oh, did they?
He was one of the world's largest living horses.
He was like 20.1 inch, hands or something. He was huge. He was huge. Huh.
What do they
Interesting.
do for that?
Well,
Percheron Thunder?
Jason Goodman is the man who usually Roman rides them. He has promised that he's going to do something bigger and better for the Congress. At the last one in 2010, Roman rode 8 Percherons.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He drives them from
I
the
wanna
back,
do
too.
that.
He drives
can
them
I-
from the back, too. It's amazing to watch.
I want to meet this guy.
It's amazing to watch.
He's a daredevil.
Yeah, and they do hook them up, don't they? They hook them up to a wagon, too. They have their own
Yeah,
wagon.
but I don't believe they're bringing their wagon for this event.
Oh, well, they won't need it. There are going to be a few other wagons there. So, well, that'll be cool. And that all happens on Tuesday, and that is just. Oh, there's one other thing I wanted to ask you about: feed team races.
Oh,
What's
yeah.
that?
What is that?
Yeah, sure. So it's really big out in the West. You'll see a lot of, especially at the National Western Stock Show in Denver. It's real big out there. But basically, there's 2 teams go against each other, and there's a driver, and then I'm not sure what they call the gentleman that hops on and off and gets the hay bales, but they have to grab hay bales off of a piece of plywood, put them onto a sled, and go through a course, and it's head-to-head, timed. And the hay bales can't come off of the back of the sled at all. And when they place them onto the plywood, they have to make sure that they get on the plywood and that they're not hanging off the plywood. And it's whoever can do it the fastest and get through the cones.
Oh, my God. That sounds really fun.
Yeah, it's a real crowd pleaser. A lot of people enjoy getting into that.
Now, you guys also have, it's a driving radio show, so we'll talk about some of the other driving things. You have Open Pleasure, cart and carriage. I know you have, you do have a unicorn class.
Sure.
So you're really doing a little bit of everything. There's halter classes, a lot of different halter classes.
There's a lot of farm classes also.
Yeah.
We're going to have the Mallory Complex is going to have our farm horses stabled in there, as well as they're going to be holding their, I think they have a log skid course and also an obstacle class.
So will they do plowing and stuff too?
Yes, actually, out in lot number 9 at the fairgrounds, they are going to get that ground worked up for us beforehand because it is a parking lot. So they're going to work the ground ahead of time and get it softened enough so that they can actually plow out there.
Now, later in the week, there's something called the Miss Daisy pumping demonstration, and I almost hate to ask what that is.
It's actually a horse-drawn fire engine.
Oh, cool.
Oh, you're going to love that, Glenn.
From Albany, New York.
Oh, wow, that's really cool. You guys put a lot of effort into this because you find a whole bunch of different stuff. And what I like about it is it's going to appeal to non-horse people. I mean, if a non-horse person shows up for this, they're going to be impressed. I know we used to go to the Pennsylvania Farm Show all the time, which is the largest indoor ag expo in the country. And every year in the winter in January, it always snowed, but they always did the biggest audience things were horse pulling, and the big draft horse hitches.
Yep,
they were
absolutely.
the biggest nights. I mean, it is a crowd pleaser, and you have so many different things going on.
Yeah, absolutely. And plus we have spectators coming from all around the world, from France, Great Britain, South America, Italy, Germany, Australia, Japan. So there's going to be spectators from everywhere.
Wow. I want to know how much, in a week's time, 800 to 1,000 Percherons, how much manure removal that is. Because let me tell you, that's a lot of
It's
poop.
a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot. It's a lot of coordination. Talk us a little bit about that. The coordination to put on an event like this where you have 800 to 1,000 horses has got to be incredible.
Well, we've got good exhibitors, too, and they're very versed at moving in and out of grounds and so on and so forth. A lot of these guys do this as a profession, so they're on the road all the time going to different venues. But, it takes an army to put on an event like this. We have a lot of volunteers and a lot of volunteer opportunities, but it's pretty much all volunteer show, minus our judges and some of the staff that it takes to run it. But pretty much it's run almost completely by volunteers.
Are there things that you have to take into consideration because they're draft horses that you wouldn't have to deal with a quarter horse show?
Yeah, actually, one of the things that we ran into with the grounds at the Eastern States Exposition were the wash racks. And we are actually going
They're not big enough?
Yeah, well, the problem is that we wash our horses quite a bit. And, after each time you take them out, you usually hose them down and rewrap their legs and such. So we need a lot of wash rack space, and also that the time of year is kind of tricky.
Oh, yeah,
so we're going to have tents put up over the outdoor wash racks with hot water heaters, and to have some heaters in the tent so nobody freezes while they're washing their horses. So that's going to be a little different than what, when you're just bringing one horse to a show where some of these guys are bringing 8, 10. Actually, we just had an entry with 25 horses from one farm.
Whoa.
Oh, my God.
So it's a lot.
Wow, you put 6 or 8 of those on a trailer. That is like 5-6 rigs. I mean,
I know. And think of all the people you need to come with you.
Yeah, you do have
bring
to take a crew
25
with you.
draft horses.
now you have experience with this, right? I mean, you have your own. And we've had your husband on before a while back, right?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. Now, so if you're taking 4 or 6 out for, let's say 6 for one of these shows, how much crew will you need?
We usually take 4 people for a 6-horse hitch. Some people will take 1 person per horse, but usually 4 for a 6-horse hitch may even be a little much. Depends on how much experience the horses have, too. If they're old veterans, a lot of them, they're easier to hook. But if we have young horses, of course, that haven't been experienced with a lot of this, we'll take a few more people with us just in case.
Yeah, but that's not what I was thinking about, the hooking part. I was thinking about all that braiding, because you always do stuff with their manes.
Washing.
And washing and cleaning and
There's
harness
mucking
and
out.
tack and ugh.
Oh,
Yeah,
the
you
tack.
usually have, while one person's at the wash rack, you have another person back cleaning their stalls and bedding them, and there's a whole science to it. But it's kind of neat if you're an outsider to sit back and watch everything that goes into it.
By the way, people, let me tell you something about Percherons. They do poop bigger. The stalls get messier. I will tell you that. It's one of the things Jennifer hated about owning the draft horses is they do make a bigger mess.
That is true.
Yeah, it's wow, what amazing just to have that number of horses and go to a show like that. I know Wendy used to do it with 4. I mean, you did it, but
but they weren't. My guys are little. They're like 15 too.
Yeah.
And when I used to have Irish draft horses, and one of my first driving horses was 17 too. And the reason I went to the smaller horses was I wanted to drive multiples, and I couldn't imagine getting another 17-hand horse to match him, because I was like, I can't do it. It's too much stuff.
Yeah.
And it's too heavy to lift, the collars over their head.
That's the other thing. Those collars weigh like 60 pounds, don't they?
Oh, yeah.
Incredible. I mean, the whole harness, I heard, weighs, 100 to 200 pounds?
Yeah, somewhere in there.
Oh, my God.
Well, good for you, Stacy. Thank you so much
strong.
for inviting us to come up. We are so looking forward to this.
We're excited
so
to have you.
We're going to talk more about this. We're going to get some of the competitors on and some other interviews along the way before the show comes up. I definitely want to get the Percheron Thunder people on. We need to talk to them about how you exactly learn how to...
Maybe he'll get out of him what he's actually going to do.
Well, yeah, you know what? I want to find out, how do you learn to Roman ride without dying Percherons, 8 of them? So practicing has to be dangerous. You still have to practice, right?
Right, yeah, and he gallops them, too.
And he comes in galloping them. I mean, he comes in the arena at a gallop. It's the most spectacular thing I've seen. It's really cool. So anyway, we will definitely be talking more about it. What's the website where people can get more information?
Sure, it's 2014 worldpercheroncongress.com, and you can also follow us on our Facebook page, which would be facebook.com/worldpercheroncongress.
And the tickets are affordable too, right?
Yes, absolutely. And actually, tickets are available online. You can go to our website and purchase them through our website as well.
I'm looking at I just went on there and went to buying a one-day tickets, like $10 for an adult and $5 for a kid. And you can get all week for $45. So,
correct. We have a discount going on now through August 1st. And as soon as August 1st hits, we're going to go up a little bit on the price.
Okay, so get your tickets now.
August 1st.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, it's definitely worth it. It's going to be so much fun, so much to see.
Yeah, we also have a mobile application for phone. If you have an iPhone or a Droid, you can download that mobile application, which has a lot of information about the show on it. And for those that aren't able to make it to the show, we do plan to live web broadcast from the
really?
show.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Terrific.
Oh, awesome.
That's a lot of fun. And we'll give you everybody more details about when we're going to be coming to you from there, and we'll be nailing that down so you can listen live. We'll be interviewing some of the competitors. And when we go to live shows, we tend to interview anybody we find interesting, so you never know who could be on the air with us. But thank you so much. We'll be talking to you again soon, Stacy, and we appreciate the invite. We're looking forward to it.
Sounds great.
And now it's time for our Tack and Habit segment. One. And of course, Bree works at Riding Warehouse. Not only does she have a cool boyfriend with a cool property and she can ride and see the ocean, she also works at a really neat place too. And Riding Warehouse right now has a terrific offer for our listeners, and that is $15 or 15% rather off their next order. And that's this month only, for the month of July, by using the coupon code RADIO. And why would you want to order anything from there? Well, probably Bree can tell us better, but you guys just have a little bit of everything, and terrific customer service too, I'm throwing.
Oh, well, thanks. Yeah, we have a little bit for everybody. We've got a unique 3-part website. We've got a separate section for our endurance riders, a section for our Western riders, and a section for our English riders. You'll see the buttons at the top of the website, really easy to toggle through. Best part, like Glenn said, is probably our customer service. It's amazing, but there's a lot of other good features. Orders over $50 are free UPS ground shipping within the contiguous United States. Or if you need it there faster, you can opt for the $5 2-day air. So you can't really beat that.
Wow,
and
no.
that's not a unique thing, actually. That's actually something that runs all year round, 365 days a year. So that's something you can take advantage of all the time and make it really count by using that coupon code radio through the month of July. To get 15% off as well. So another great thing, if you want to try something on, you're not sure if it'll work for either you or your horse, we have 365-day return policy. Not only that, but every order within the contiguous U.S. goes out with a free return shipping label. So you're going to get free shipping over $50. If you don't like it, you can return it. You can exchange it. You won't pay any shipping back to us or any shipping for the exchanged item either. So,
that's unheard of. I mean, that's really good. Especially when you're trying things like boots or coats or clothing, because you never get it right the first time.
No, it's really, really helpful. And the other thing I want to mention, too, is that free return shipping label and the free exchange, that's available for any order. That's not just the orders over $50. The orders over $50 will ship for free, UPS ground. But the free return shipping is you can order a $5 hoof pick or something like that, and you'll get that return shipping label in your box. So it's pretty special.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, really unique. And we've got tons of products. Got everything to outfit your horse, regardless of discipline, to outfit your stable, to outfit yourself, boots. It's a great place to get your cute. Even if you're an English rider, you want to look for the cowboy boots. Go over to our Western section. It's just a fantastic website, if I do say so myself.
Well, and of course, Bree is the buyer over there, so she knows a little bit about products, and she's bringing us the one that we are talking about today, so that you can get at ridingwarehouse.com. And this is one you're going to want to get free shipping on because it's a little heavy. And the product we're talking about today is one I've never heard of, so tell us about it.
Yeah, this is the Paddy. It's actually a horse trailer divider. It can also be used in the stall. It's spelled Paddie. And basically, it's a foam divider that you can put like in a slant load trailer. Say you've got a horse that moves around a lot, or maybe you're transporting a mare and foal and you want to keep them separate from another horse. You can hang it from your divider, and it goes from the divider down. It's about 30 inches deep, and it's 90 inches long. So it's meant to fit in a slant load trailer. And basically just keeps your horse nice and comfortable and on their own side. What I really love about it, too, you can also put it in a stall. Or you know how sometimes you'll have your horse in like a pipe corral and the gap between the ground and the first row of pipe is kind of deep, and you kind of get worried maybe if they lay down they might get under it. This is perfect. You can
I've had that happen
there.
before, actually, with horses.
Yeah, it's really scary and can cause a lot of injury. So this is a nice little divider. It's really, really soft, really lightweight. It's high-density foam. They can kick at it, and they're not going to damage the horse on the other side, even in the trailer. That's kind of what it's originally meant to do. It's also adjustable, so you can make it shorter. There's some Velcro, and you can just kind of fold it into itself. And it's really easy to transport. It's less than 12 pounds. I can pick it up with one hand, throw it over my shoulder, put it anywhere. It's really, really great for anybody who has a trailer or a horse in a stall. You want a little bit of extra padding. Sometimes when you go to shows, you don't know what kind of setup you're going to have. So you might as well bring it. It's a really reasonable price. 600 denier canvas outer, so it's very durable. It comes with all the snaps and straps that you need, and they're highly adjustable. So it's got everything you need, really. If you do any sort of trailering or transporting, this is something you're going to want to have.
And this is a great idea. I didn't even know this existed, and especially sometimes if you're hauling in more open trailers or stock trailers, they'll have a divider, but the divider isn't a whole divider either. So this could be used to especially if you've got two horses that tend to go after each other a little bit. This is going to solve that problem, and it's a padded way to solve the problem.
Yeah, it's padded, so if they kick at it, it is going to absorb that shock. There's 2 inches of that foam, so it's going to absorb it. The horse on the other side, if it kind of swings into him, might feel a little bit of it, but it's not going to get injured because they're just going to, the divider's just kind of going to go into them. It's not going to injure them, so it's It's totally worth it when you think about it. It's $169.95 compared to a vet bill and a horse. I don't think you can really argue that.
And I like, too, when you're not using it, it folds up like an accordion. So you can just fold it up and put it away. You could even put it in the one of the compartments in the horse trailer if you wanted to get it out of the way. It would fit. So
yeah, you can. It comes in a little zippered clear plastic, kind of what like horse blankets come in. So it easily folds up and stores into there, and you can keep it clean when you're not using it. So if you don't use it for a long time, it's not going to be exposed to the elements or anything.
And at $169.95, that's the price of a couple of mats. I mean, it's very reasonably priced. I thought it would be more than that.
Definitely. I've heard it's very popular on our site. People really are into this. And I've heard a lot of people say they use it because they are transporting a mare with a foal. And the foals can sometimes go right underneath it. So this is a nice barrier there. So even if you're not traveling with any other horses, but you've got a foal, this is a nice way to make sure they're not getting in where they shouldn't be. Or even a small horse or like, your ponies or anything like that. Definitely great to either put in your trailer or put in your pipe corral. Or if you just want to pad a wall even in your stall, if you've got a horse that, kind of goes up against the wall or something, and I don't know, just anytime you need some protection against the wall, it's very adjustable, so you can kind of hang it from anywhere.
Terrific. You can find it at ridingwarehouse.com. Just search for PADDIE, and I'm sure it'll come up if you just search for PADDIE. And, of course, we always put the products in our show notes at stablescoop.com. For each individual episode, we put a product and a picture. So you can, if you're not sure where to find it or what we even talked about, you can always go back to stablescoop.com and find all the past products. And thank you to Riding Warehouse for their support of the Tack and Habit segment here at the Stable Scoop Radio Show. Well, Bree, thank you so much for filling in today. I really appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me. It's so much fun.
Well, now I have to have you back. Helena does go. Now she's taking more and more vacations, it seems. So we'll have. I know, it's a good deal. we'll have to have you back again. And good luck out there. Do you have anything coming up? Any big rides or any plans with the horses?
Well, right now, actually, we've got our Mid-State Fair going on in Paso Robles, California. So I'm headed up there this weekend to check out all the 4-H projects that the kids have and check out all the animals and hopefully watch some of the horse events with the kids. I love watching, those kids get so excited about their animals. So that's where I'm headed this weekend. Well,
you have a funnel cake for me, okay?
Oh, totally. My first funnel cake was last year, so I need to do it every year now.
Oh, really? You never had a funnel cake before that?
You know what? Everybody says that. I can't believe you've never had a funnel cake before. But no, last year was my first year, and so now I try to only have it once a year, and it's going to be my little treat to myself at the fair.
What rock did you grow up under, girl? Jeez.
Healthy family.
I guess we need to corrupt you a little bit. Funnel cake, kettle corn. How about kettle corn?
Yep. Oh, love kettle corn.
Okay, all right.
I'm a popcorn fan in general.
Okay, I feel better now.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bree. You can find all of our past episodes at stablescoop.com, and you can find all of our shows at horseradionetwork.com. Best place to listen to them is on our app. Go to the iOS or Android store and search for Horse Radio Network. It's free, and it's probably the simplest, easiest way to listen to the shows. Many thanks to our sponsors today, Kentucky Performance Products, EasySignsOnline.com, and, of course, RidingWarehouse.com. We'll see you, Bree.
Bye, Glenn.
This is the point where Helena always closes the show by saying happy scooping.
Oh, yeah. Okay, let me see. Really?
So,
okay.
Yeah, and by the way, she always messes it up every week. So let's do it again, okay? All right.
Where is that? Sorry.
You'll just say happy. It's not in here. See, I don't put it in the. See, I don't put it in the show notes because I want to mess her up every week, and I do. So now I've messed you up this week. You realize I'm leaving this whole part in the show, don't you?
Perfect. So happy scooping is what I'm supposed to say.
Yes, that's what you're supposed to say. So have a great week, Bree.
Happy scooping.